Mason Greenwood has been told he will not return to Manchester United this season. The earliest he can return after the international investigation into his arrest is completed will be this summer. Of course, this news is going to trend. I've already had my DMs light up. What does this mean, Terry? Is he returning? Have the club accepted him back? The answer right now is no. The investigation is ongoing. They are having extensive talks with the player, his representation. They'll be seeking legal advice, and there'll be internal conversations happening at senior executive board level, ownership, right down to, of course, speaking to the playing staff of both the male and female teams, and of course, the staff around Manchester United Football Club as a whole, and of course, listening to fan opinion. And we'll get on to fan opinion a little bit later and why it's important. But hit the like and share button for the Football Terrace. Make sure you're subscribing to our shows. Scan these QR codes as well and follow our Clips channel and our Top 6 podcast on Spotify. Links in descriptions below as well. But the Mason Greenwood situation, in my mind, is very simple. He should not play for Manchester United again. I have seen what I have seen. I have heard voice recordings. My mind, as of right now, without anything new or tangible being presented, is made up. He should not be a Manchester United player again. The club has got to go through this process. The club legally has to go through this level of investigation before they terminate a contract. They may end up having to pay out about £8 million compensation for exiting the contract. If they do, they may decide to do that. There may be a mutual consent. If they find evidence on an employee point of view, remember, players are employed PAYE. In the UK, that means you're a full-time employee. So there has to be something tangible on a civil level to be able to dismiss his contract without him having the right to sue you. So there's also a financial element here and a legal element that Man United need to get right. That is why that'll be an element and a part of why this investigation is going on. The article out here states that Mason Greenwood has held extensive talks with Manchester United officials in recent weeks, in which the player has emphasized his desire to return as soon as possible and stressed his commitment to remaining at Man United. And this shouldn't be a shock to anybody. This shouldn't be a surprise. Of course he is. This young man is highly likely to be in the mindset of a court life. I have got a second opportunity potentially here, and I don't want to waste it. He almost saw his career, income, freedom completely removed for what could have been a very long period of time, and which would have seen his situation never return to normal. And he still may not be able to return to normal because people have seen and heard the voice note and seen the pictures of his now girlfriend and mother to be in the situation, which adds another layer of complexity to this from in terms of people's views and opinions, and it does. And when you read social media, I've given you my point of view earlier. I don't think you should play for us again. When you go through social media, lots of different people from lots of different parts of the world have different takes on this. Some believe he's innocent. He hasn't been proven guilty, therefore he's innocent. He shouldn't be judged. He should come back and play football. There are others, and I've seen these opinions where they don't care, innocent or guilty. They just want the footballer back. They see him as a footballer that can do a good job for their football club. There are some who believe, like me, he should not be back at Manchester United. There are other individuals that do not even believe an investigation should take place and United should just cancel his contract and suffer the potential legal consequences of this that may happen. So there's lots of different standpoints. There's lots of different views. I would love to understand and ascertain your thoughts and feelings in the comments below about this. The investigation, what you believe should happen. How do you personally see it? And look, there'll be people in the comments calling me out for saying, how dare you say he shouldn't return? He's innocent. There'll be some saying, Terry, you're absolutely right. That's what an open free space of conversation is about. But it also appears there's a split at Manchester United as well. There is a split where some people in the football department are arguing that he should be given a second chance, but commercial executives are worried around concerns relating to the club's reputation. And the reputation is worth lots of money. And that's a big point for me, not the money that comes with it. And that's will become a It's a knock-on effect. There's women that work at Man United Football Club that I would feel not so much worried for, as in I don't know it, not that I think he'd be a day-to-day threat against them, but just in terms of how it would make them feel, does it really show that we think about domestic abuse towards women as a football club? There is the reputation in terms of the heat that all Man United fans are going to get from this. And this is a selfish element for me. And maybe some of you don't want to admit the selfish element online, but I'll do it. I'm going to get abuse. You, as a Man United fan, are going to get abuse. Anybody connected to Man United, if this guy returns, if we win a game that he's playing in, the attention is going to be completely away from the team. It's always going to be about Mason Greenwood. If we win a trophy with Mason Greenwood, it'll be discredited. We win a Premier League with Mason Greenwood, in the squad, it'll be discredited. And I don't want that. That's a secondary reason for me. The first, as I've already mentioned, is I do not want him in my football club, at my football club anymore, around my football club anymore, because of what I believe, what I know I saw. Unless somebody can show, I've already said this many times, unless somebody can show me evidence that it wasn't him that made the markings and there was more to that voice note than any of us can comprehend. And I doubt that, by the way. I very much doubt it with 99% of my mind. But unless that happens, I won't change. And I want him away for what he did. But then there's the element of, I'm going to get crap from it. As a Man United fan, I'm being very selfish here. I'm going to get crap from it. Then you have the commercial side of things, which could cost Man United money, which could cost the sponsorships, which stops the endeavours of the football club. And we all support the football club for one reason or another, but we want it to be successful. And I just see this as being such a bad move on so many. Moralistically, it is wrong. I think towards the female members of staff at Manchester United, at all levels of the club, it is wrong. To anybody, both man, woman, and child around the club who either suffered at the hands of domestic violence or witnessed it, it is a bad message. And then on top of that, you have this situation of the team really is starting to galvanize. And this is the footballing side of things. The team's starting to galvanize. How do you reintroduce him? Are these players all going to be comfortable with, him being a teammate, celebrating goals with him, socializing with him, being his friend again? Because that is what you kind of need to create a great team ethos. To do that, they are going to be, and rivals will do this, the media will do this. They will say, hang on, I'm not even going to name a player because I don't want to put their names to it. But you've been seen out in a restaurant with him. You put your arm around him when he scored. You did an interview on the club website with him, smiling next to him. You are the same as him. People, these individual players are not going to want, some of them anyway. Some might not care, but many will, about their own individual reputation, how they are perceived by the world. And I do believe that people deserve a second chance in life. I do believe that people deserve the opportunity to better themselves. But he hasn't had anything. He's had a year of football taken away, but he hasn't lost anything. And I almost feel that if he is to rebuild, maybe it should be somewhere else, smaller, maybe somewhere else, less media attention, somewhere else where it's deemed less of a privilege, potentially. This is the potential here. And he can build himself back up. But if no football club ever wanted to sign him again, I would also completely and utterly understand this. But look, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. It is a very complex situation. And I know some of you are angry in the comments section with me right now, but I can't help that. I can't help it. Mason Greenwood is a football player that I do not want back at Manchester United. I just don't. And unless you can give me a good reason as to why, and not just because he didn't go to court, that isn't a good enough reason for me. Never has been. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.